Hey guys, Sean here, and welcome to the qualifying watch-along for the 2026 Monaco Grand Prix, the most important qualifying session of the season, or so they say. Although I will say, if the F2 is anything to go by, this quali is probably the best bit of the weekend by a mile, because nothing happened. No spoilers, but I wouldn't bother watching it. And that doesn't bode well for the Formula One tomorrow, so hopefully, we're going to get a great qualifying session today. We tend to around Monaco. It's my favourite qualifying session of the year as well. Cars between the barriers. Any mistake is punished. I love qualifying in Monaco. So very much looking forward to this one. How are we all doing this Saturday afternoon? It's a European race. Wow. It's an afternoon. It's not first thing in the morning or last thing at night. So, good to see you all in a slightly more sociable time if you're in the UK and Europe. Let me know where you're watching from. Say hey in the chat as well, and I will do some shout-outs in a second. Before I get to that, though, I will quickly run through the result from FP3 this morning in case you didn't catch it. Ferrari look very good. And I was quite excited for this one, and then all of a sudden Mercedes decided to turn up. Kimi Antonelli fastest this morning, 0.3 quicker than Charles Leclerc, although on Leclerc's one of his final runs was impeded, so maybe there's some more time there. Lewis Hamilton P3, George Russell P4, and Max Verstappen in P5, nearly a second back to Verstappen in 5th. Piastri was 6th, Bortoletto 7th for Audi, Hadjar in 8th, Norris 9th, and Hulkenberg 10th. So Audi looking good on a track where power isn't all that important, so good chassis there on the Audi. We know that anyway, just the engine that's lacking, so good for them so far. 11th Ocon, 12th Sainz, 13th Gasly, 14th Bearman, 15th Lawson, 16th for Alex Albon, 17th for Arvid Lindblad, 18th for Sergio Perez, 19th for Colapinto, and 20th for Bottas, just on the Cadillacs. Still a way to go this weekend. We're only just about to head into qualifying, so changes can be made, but based on how their brakes are reacting at the moment, I'd be surprised if they finish the race tomorrow. Brake fire for Checo yesterday, overheating on the brakes for Bottas this morning and for Perez as well, so a little bit concerning. And I think the most concerning thing is it's both sides. I think there was a right and a left this morning, so bit of a concern for them, I'm sure. Certainly a concern for Cadillac fans as well. I'm pretty confident of that one. And bringing up the rear of the field, hands up if you're shocked, are both the Aston Martins, Fernando Alonso in P21 and Lance Stroll P22, just the casual 3.2 seconds off the pace. So yeah, there you go. That's all your action from this morning. I'm just trying to think of something really thrilling happen. Bearman had a crash towards the end of the session. Was okay. Car was a bit of a mess. Barrier was fine after a quick check, and they got going again. So yeah, not as dramatic as previous sessions, but dramatic enough. So let's do some shout outs in chat then. A few of you getting your names in early, not many, but we'll say hi anyway. So hey to Tim, hope you well, mate. Hey to Lee, hello Annette, how are you? It feels like it's been a while since I've spoken to you, Annette. Hope you're doing well over in Australia there. Hope you're having a good one. Much love as always. Hey to Alfie. Pascal says, good afternoon, Sean and chat. Hope everyone is doing fine. I am very happy with Audi so far. Top 10 all weekend with both cars. Now is the time to confirm this pace. Again, Pascal, it's not about the engine here, is it? So the signs for Audi are good chassis-wise, and if they can take advantage of the ADUO and give themselves the boost that they need with the power, then they might be sitting pretty next season, assuming the rules don't change, which at the moment it looks like they won't. We're not going to get into it too much. Audi saying they still want a turbo for 2030 and 2031 whenever they change, and they are not really keen on changes to next year's regulations. So we might be stuck with what we've got for a while. So let's see. But we're not getting to that today. We're all bored of talking about that, aren't we? So hey to Stewie says that hey, looking forward to this very much so. Hey to RC says it's been too long since a European race. So hey to Annette. I've already said hey, but we'll say hello again. Hey to Duckrut at 8:36 a.m, which isn't horrific. Stewie as well says Perez was a 10th off Lindblad though. So yeah, the pace in the Cadillac, as Charles Leclerc goes through memories and up flashes Jules Bianchi to give us all a moment. Yeah, so the pace in the Cadillac isn't horrendous this weekend, which has been really, really good to see. It's just those concerns over brakes. And it's one, your car can be as competitive if you like, but it's sort of pointless if it's not going to finish a Grand Prix. So they need to get on top of the brake issues. They know that. They don't need us telling them they need to get on top of the brake issues. They're fully aware of that fact. So yeah, hopefully Cadillac can sort that out. But like I say, plenty of time left in the weekend yet. They can make some tweaks, maybe open them up a little bit if they can. I don't know how easy that would be, but we'll see. But yeah, a bit of the fire yesterday for Checo was huge, wasn't it, really? For a brake fire when you think about it. And then Bottas on his right front, I think, and then Perez again on his left front this morning as well. So it's not looking great for Cadillac in that respect. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's Monaco. It's one of those weekends where if you're Cadillac or Aston Martin, the most important thing is to obviously get a time within 107%, which I'm sure they both will, and just get your cars to the finish, because it's unlikely we're going to see anything like 96, but just to mention it, as we often do at this time of year, Monaco 1996, 3 cars, I think, finished that one. So there's no point them going, no heroics into Sandovot and all that nonsense. There's no point in them going in all guns blazing at turn 1. They're better off sitting at the back and hoping something happens and allows them to make up some places tomorrow. But realistically, it's all about today, isn't it? It's qualifying at the moment. Looks like a battle, Mercedes versus Ferrari. Also, I don't know what's happened. I don't think it's been made public yet, but get well soon to Fred Vasseur. He was taken for medical checks and will remain with the medical team earlier, so he's not been very well by the sounds of it, so hopefully all is okay. Team say he's going to be away from the track today, and no further updates are going to follow at the moment, so hopefully he is okay, and get well soon to Fred. He's I've never met him, but he seems like a really lovely guy. He's funny, and of course he's Ferrari team boss, so I want him to be there in Monaco, but hopefully he's okay. Maybe Charles and Lewis can give you something to smile about tonight, hopefully, or this afternoon, whenever qualifying is. It should be good. Sab Mariners fan says, I suck at predictions, don't I? So do I, mate. I mean, I went for Ferrari for a 1-2 on race day, and then for Charles Leclerc to take pole. And after yesterday, I thought, hey, this could be a good weekend in the predictions battle. This could be the weekend that Sean finally gets maybe not a perfect score, but a good score. And then Kimi Antonelli went, hold my beer, and did that this morning. So, yeah, Mercedes very much in the mix. I did say in the preview, to be fair, it'd be very naive to rule Mercedes out this weekend, even if Ferrari were the favourites on paper coming into this one. So, proven right there at least. But, yeah, I do think, certainly based on what we saw yesterday, there's justification in saying that Ferrari coming into this weekend were the favourites, bearing in mind, again, as I said in the preview, there's, this track isn't about power, and the area that Ferrari are weakest in, if you like, with their car is straight line speed. The drivers have said themselves the car is good in the corners, but they've got no pace in a straight line. That's where they're losing all their time. So somewhere like Monaco, they should be really good, and it looks like that is going to be the case, or at least hoping that's going to be the case. But we'll see. Not long to find out. We're about 17 minutes away from quali, so we'll see what's going on. I'm not sure who's running the team stew with Fred not there. Maybe I assume one of the engineers, senior engineers, will have stepped in. I don't know who his second in command is, actually, to be honest. I mean, if it had been a couple of years ago at Red Bull, we'd be saying Jonathan Wheatley, wouldn't we, stepping in for Christian Horner? But I'm not quite sure down at Ferrari. I should know that kind of thing, and it's appalling. I've let you all down. Raikkonen had a great start in 2014, going from P6 to P3 before the first corner, says Pascal. Yeah, the start tomorrow is going to be qualifying today, start tomorrow, the most critical points, and then also we'll have to wait and see what happens with any. You need chaos. Monaco needs chaos, even with these cars. These cars, by the way, if you've been watching this weekend, they look fantastic around this track. They really, really do. They look a right handful. They look nice and nimble. And it's great. I mean, we're just watching Lewis Hamilton getting close to the wall. He hit the wall, didn't he, in practice at one point? But yeah, they look great around the track, but they're still too big. You're not going to be. That's Colapinto into the wall and FP2 yesterday. Sorry. Yeah, so you're not going to be overtaking here still. So the cars are still not small enough, but the F2 cars are quite small, and they didn't do an awful lot of overtaking today if you haven't seen that race. So, and again, as I said at the start, if you're just tuning in, if you haven't seen F2 yet, to be honest, I'd probably find something else to do with your evening, because it doesn't bode well for tomorrow. But look, we anybody that came into this weekend expecting the Monaco Grand Prix to be the most thrilling race of the year is probably drunk. We know it's about qualifying. We know that unless we get a Monaco 96, 97 situation, it's probably going to be a bit flat, but and a bit processional, but that doesn't stop me loving it any less. So I get the criticism of Monaco. I honestly do, and I think a lot of it is, in fact, most of it is completely valid. But there's just still something about it. Every year I get excited for it, and then every year I'm let down. So there you go. Hey, Kevin, mate. Says, afternoon, everybody. Hope you well. Kev, looking forward to this one. I'm not sure. I was going to say something really interesting there, and it went, and Kevin distracted me, as he often does. Hey, tomorrow. Moray says, something about D'Ambrosio. Is it at Ferrari? Yeah, Jerome D'Ambrosio. So that would make sense. Yes, of course it would be. Now you've said it, it's obvious. Yeah, Jerome D'Ambrosio will be stepping in for Fred Vasseur. Hey to Fudd as well, who's just popped in, and Duckroot says they don't race in the rain anymore, so I can't see that happening. Yeah, it feels like that, doesn't it? I tell you what, first time we get a proper wet race with this set of regulations being Monaco would be that would be worth tuning in for tomorrow. That said, there's no rain on the radar from what I've seen. It's very much a warm and sunny weekend, which just brings Monaco to life a little bit. But we're just watching Hadjar's crash from FP1, lost it. I found myself this weekend getting irrationally frustrated and angry with two things. Firstly, when a driver has a minor crash, minor to them. To us, an 80-mile-an-hour crash is horrible. For an F1 driver, it's nothing really by the standards that we've seen. Bearman at Suzuka was a horrendous crash. And then having commentary go, I hope he's all right. It's like, well, if he isn't, we need to stop racing now because there's something defective with these cars. So shut up. Secondly, it is not, and I'm willing, I'm going to climb on this hill and I'm going to die on it. I don't care. It is not McLaren's 1000th Grand Prix. I believe it is their 1004th entry, and it is their 999th start if they take the start tomorrow. The 2005 Indy Grand Prix does not count as a start because they didn't start the race. That's it. I'm done. Barcelona is their 1000th start, and Sky and F1 and McLaren are all 1000 this, 1000 that, and every single time I'm going, it's 999. It's completely irrational. I need to get a grip and a life. I'm fully aware of that, but my God, is it annoying. It's so frustrating when you just... Look, Wikipedia will help you, McLaren. Wikipedia is not the most reliable source of information, but you take that and then go and compare it to every other stats site. They're all saying exactly the same thing. Maybe they pull their information from there, but Indy 500 doesn't count at all. I also... Bellotti, I think it was, pointed out in the preview. I made a point in the preview about Fernando Alonso at Sochi 2017, but I'd kind of gone off script and went on a complete and total rant about it, getting frustrated, and I mixed up my 2 points. The point I was making about Fernando Alonso, of course, Stoffel Van Dorn, like I'd forget, started the 2017 Russian Grand Prix, but Fernando Alonso broke down on the formation lap. My point actually that I was trying to make and made very badly because I went off script was, if we go by McLaren's logic on race starts, do we need to add one more to Fernando Alonso's tally because he took the formation lap? But I took the 2 points, stuffed them together, went on a rant, and then just sent the preview out anyway and didn't bother to change it because I was on one. So yeah, it's 999 for McLaren, which, by the way, is still one hell of an achievement, and we can celebrate their 1000th next weekend, but I'm putting my foot down on that, and I'm taking no further questions. That's the end of that one. There was a point, I'm not going to lie, on Tuesday afternoon, just before recording the preview, where I thought about going and counting them all. And then I got to about 47 and I went, oh, screw this. I'm like, I can't do this. This is ridiculous. Anyway, Annette's laughing at me, as always. Turn Sky off and watch F1 TV. Your mental health will thank you. I haven't got F1 TV. And I can't sort a VPN at the minute, so... it's something I want, and I want to get sorted, but yeah. Sky frustrates me, but Sky frustrates me anyway. There are things I love about it, and there are a lot of things I hate about it, but there you go. So what you're saying is we need the FIA to rule and set a specific regulation as to what constitutes a race start versus a race entry. They already do. You have. I know you're poking fun at me, Fun, and you're trying to rile me up, but it's. They already do. A race start is when the lights go out and you go. Pole position, for example. Whoever sets the fastest lap today isn't technically on pole position. They're not on pole position until they head out to the grid to line up on pole tomorrow. So this is technically the fastest time of Saturday, and then pole is when they line up on Sunday. But we call it pole position because more often than not, the person who sets the fastest time in quali does end up lining up on pole position, unless you're Charles Leclerc. There's a grey area on that with Charles Leclerc, because he did go out a couple of years ago, didn't he, or a few years ago after his crash in qualifying. He got P1 in quali and then took pole, was going to take pole, then he had to go back to the garage and they checked and there was a problem with his car and then he couldn't take it, but it was still pole position because but the formation lap does not count as the start of the race. And McLaren, for very legitimate reasons, chose to retire before the race started in Indy in 2005, and that doesn't count as a race start. Yeah, Kimi's on fire. That's what it is, Kevin. Absolutely on fire. It's like how you could be classified as a finisher without actually finishing. Yeah, there's that's why I get confused by Monaco 96. I think 3 cars crossed the line, but I think 4 were classified. But then there were also two others that scored points, weren't there? Because you retire in an order. For example, we're on one now. The timing tower that you see there, if we take that in order, Stroll retires, he finishes 22nd, Alonso 21st, all the way. And then so if Hülkenberg was to retire, he'd still be P10, so he'd still get a point. It's the way that, it's very strange, but I can't. I can't. If McLaren want to celebrate it, that's fine, but it's not their 1000th Grand Prix. They can celebrate their 1000th, but really they're just doing a pre-celebration for next week. I am not naive. I know why they're doing it this weekend, because with the greatest of respect to the Barcelona-Catalunya Grand Prix next week, it's not quite as prestigious as Monaco. So if you're going to celebrate something like this, you do tend to, we'll count that as a race start, because then Monaco could be number 1000. So yeah, I'm fine, Kevin, I promise. It's just, I wouldn't mind if we live in a world where this information is readily available, and if a moron like me can go online and find this information out, then you'd think that Sky would be able to, or McLaren could work it out that way. But anyway, enough about that. Either way, next weekend is their 1000th. This weekend we're celebrating it. That's how we're going to look at it. So there we go. I don't know if there's a delay in chat. I feel like there's a delay in chat, or there's been an issue with the stream, but I keep refreshing it and I think a couple are behind, but it sometimes happens, so I'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, the Caddies cooking their brakes, the McLaren's cooking their engines, and the Alpine's Aston's cooking the barriers, says Fudd. Been one of them weekends, hasn't it? For sure. They should force the drivers to race the 1990s cars with manual transmission in Monaco, says Kevin. Yeah, I'd pay to watch that. I mean, I pay to watch this, so I'm going to definitely pay to watch that. RC has had to organise a date. Oh, gossip. Come on, RC. But I'm back. Would be funny if they don't start the race, says Stewie, referring to McLaren. Yeah, then next week still isn't their 1000th. Then it's going to be Austria, so they do not start the next one so they can celebrate at Silverstone. Or do they suddenly decide that Indy 2005 doesn't count? I don't know. Yeah. J-Web says, I think Stroll can cause a mighty upset and qualify 21st. Oh, that's the story of the day, J-Web. Hater Warden of Soul says, I will pay to watch them race Monaco in a regular Fiat Multipla for sure. Yeah, look, we'll not get to that. I'm gonna avoid the Monaco debate a bit this year. It gets boring having that conversation every year, doesn't it, about whether it should or shouldn't be on the calendar. I like it, so. but I'm not going to sit here and claim it's the greatest race of the season, because it isn't. Canada was pretty good though. We enjoyed that one, didn't we? Hey to Professional Moron says, greetings one and all, happy best day of the Monaco weekend day. We need to catch your title than that for sure. But yeah. It's I think it's going to be tighter than FP3 suggests. I mean, there's 0.004 of a second between Leclerc and Hamilton, so it's been pretty close between them for most of the weekend. But I think Ferrari will be better. This is Sean clutching at straws. I think it will be better for Ferrari in qualifying. They'll be closer or more in the mix with Mercedes than they were in FP3. But there's also time on the table, like I say, with Charles in particular. So I think Hamilton made a mistake somewhere too. I'm not making excuses, just saying it. Say what we saw. So we are the music has kicked in. So let's get the timing set up just to confirm. I know you all know this, and you probably get sick of me saying it. I promise you, I get sick of saying it too. No on-track footage for obvious copyright reasons in 2026. But live timing is provided by the amazing people over at Multiviewer. Multiviewer for F1, of course. They do IndyCar, WEC, and all that. Link in the description if you would like to follow along with all the data that you could possibly want for your viewing experience, which could be fun tomorrow, something to watch other than the race, I suppose. It is free to download the app and to sign up, but you do need some sort of F1 TV subscription. F1 Access will do. That's what I use. So thank you to those guys as always. We'll have the track map though. How about we put that on, Sean? You're supposed to get these things ready while you're talking nonsense. Come on. There you go. Track map is on. Hopefully that's... it could do with a little wobble to the right, couldn't it? There you go. Problem solved-ish. That'll do. CPB. Hey, CPB. Says it's going to be Leclerc, Antonelli on pole with Lewis in P3. I sense another struggle for George this weekend. I've got a feeling Kimi has his number now. I was going to ask this tomorrow, but no, I will ask it tomorrow. Let's not start jinxing weekend, Sean. Let's ignore that. I'll ask you another question. How are you all? There you go. Do you think Caddy could make it out of Q1s to Stewie? We were talking about this a bit ago, actually. They are close to those ahead, which is really positive, but I just hope they've got their brake problems solved. Otherwise, tomorrow's going to be awful. So I think they've got a shot, but I think if you asked me to pick cars that are guaranteed to get out in Q1, it'd be the 2 Astons and the 2 Cadillacs. So I'd like to see one through. I would. Actually, if I'm picking as well, Bottas would be nice. There's a lot of speculation all of a sudden that he's getting dropped. I assume the speculation about Bottas getting dropped is because the media peddled the Esteban Ocon getting dropped one. They were told that was bollocks. Didn't like that. Had something else to fill the gaps. They went with Bottas instead. It's all a load of nonsense and stuff you read on it. I mean, there's some Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts that are all full of crap, frankly. But yeah, if a single team lock out the front row, they're going to collide to roadblock the start, I feel. Oh, collude. I was like, FUD. A literal roadblock. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. It would make sense if you are Leclerc and Hamilton. I don't think it makes sense if you're Antonelli and Russell, because they're going for a title. I still think it's those two are going for the title, not anybody else. So I hope I'm wrong, but yeah. Warden of Sources, I'm curious about what Audi can do. They look much closer to the top. Maybe they make it out of Q2 finally. Yeah, Bortoletto 7th this morning, Hulkenberg 10th. So a real shot there. They looked good. They've got a good car underneath them. Chance of rain for qualifying, 0%, which we kind of knew anyway. Yeah, just look at the constructors title there. Mercedes aren't that far gone, are they, considering their domination? Far enough, but soon changes a couple of races, doesn't it? Yeah, true fun. If it is the Mercs, they could collide. We're 1 minute and 10 seconds away. So I'll do my YouTuber spiel. As we see, is that Checo Perez first at the end of the pit lane? It's a Cadillac, that's for sure. Please do drop a like on the stream if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new. Live tomorrow with the race reaction, then back on Wednesday with the Barcelona-Catalunya Grand Prix preview. I'm practicing, so don't say Spanish Grand Prix preview. Currently debating over which flag I should use for that one, so if anyone knows the safest route to go. I suspect the safest route to go is both, but do let me know. I'd be interested to know. And of course, then live again next weekend for the qualifying watch along and the race reaction as well. So plenty to come as we now get into some momentum now in the season is going to be nice. Actually having some momentum is going to be good. No massive breaks, and then just to get that momentum, it's the summer break. So that's about typical, isn't it? That's what I'm wondering, RC, whether it's that one and the Spanish flag or one or the other. I need to go and do some Googling on local politics. I don't want to upset people. So, you know what the internet could be like. You're on it. Here we go then. I think any second, I promise, it's happening. We're green for qualifying in Monaco. Like I keep saying, the most important session of the season. Qualifying session season. Sergio Perez straight out on track on a set of soft tyres, obviously. Bottas as well. So it's the two caddies out nice and early. Maybe just to check those brakes. But traffic. Traffic is going to be the word of the day today as well. Keep an eye out for that final couple of corners, particularly when you've got cars backing up to make space through Rascasse, and then you've got faster cars coming out of the swimming pool. That tends to be a little bit chaotic there. So I'd be amazed if we come out of this without a penalty for at least somebody. So, yeah. It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. People leaving the pit lane are flying onto the track there from space by the look of it. Perez and Bottas will be first to do times. I'm just trying to work out. I'm trying to see I'm watching the track map because we're watching cars on track, which is fine on TV. But I'm just watching the track map to see how much backing up there is in the pit lane. It looks quite even. Like everyone's, which is obviously they've all come to the same conclusion, leaving about the same gap. So that's interesting. I'm thinking for later in the session when we need to get 22 cars on track and there's a couple of minutes to go and they've got to get laps in. So that could be an intriguing one later. Who crashes first, says Kevin. Question. Take your pick. I mean, probably knowing my look, a Ferrari. Probably. So, just to confirm, if you are just tuning in, by the way, the Ferraris quick all day yesterday. Mercedes turned up this morning and delivered some pretty incredible lap times, really, compared to where they were yesterday. Particularly Antonelli, who looked very much on it. George Russell, again, as they've said in chat, quite a way off, really. Didn't they reduce the boost for the battery this race? I think they're at 9 megajoules, I think, Kevin. But it's not really a thing here. It's not. This is going to feel much more like a normal weekend. So that's good. The biggest drain is the run through the tunnel where we're watching Lewis Hamilton now into the Nouvelle chicane, which isn't very new. But yeah, this is not really an issue this weekend, to be honest. So, and that's good. That's good. We can forget about it. Hopefully. How was the Charles backing into me? Understood. I mean, I assume Leclerc was trying to find space, but Hamilton's going to need to back up here and give some space to Colapinto. He's doesn't really follow him too much through there. Stop the count. Perez and Bottas P1 and P2. But of course, they are the first two to do lap times. I suspect we're going to be quicker than a 120.2 today. I suspect. Although Colapinto only a 23.5. One other thing to note, actually, Lewis Hamilton did say, I forgot to mention this, did say this morning that it was taking more than one lap to cool the tyres to go again. So you might see a hot lap, a couple of cool laps, and then another hot lap today. So keep an eye on that one. Yeah. The Kim Kardashian thing really pissed me off. Nothing was happening on track. And then as soon as cars went out, they went and looked. I know she's only just entered the paddock, and I'm just sort of like, I don't care. If Lewis Hamilton has, as the rumours suggest, found somebody he's happy with, that's great. I'm happy for him. But I do not give a shit about partners, potential partners, celebrities on a race weekend. I'm here to watch the racing and the track action. So, you know, a lot of outlets now seem to be obsessed with the celebrity side of F1, and that's great. They can keep that and stick it. I'm not interested. I know nothing about the Kardashians either, except that I think I know two. Kim and I think, is it Chloe? I don't know if there's like a Claudine. I don't know. I don't bloody know. I couldn't give a damn. I've got brains. I don't need to watch stuff like that. They're not big brains, but you know, they're there. Yeah, we've got laps going in nicely. And Perez getting down to a 16.7 as Bearman puts in a 15.9 and goes fastest. The Cadillac's actually sort of sharing that with the Alpines at the moment. Perez, Colapinto, Bottas and Gasly. So I'm pretty sure the Alpines can go quicker as well. Gasly is going to have a little moment through Casino Square. I have a question for you, chap. I was going to look at this and then bring it up today, and I completely forgot. You know the bump on the run down to Mirabeau? Why has that not been repaired, or is that just something that cannot be touched? Because that's the worst prep ever. Come on, what are we doing? Says Hadjar. Slightly more aggressive than I said it there. But yeah, somebody asked me that, and I forgot to check if there was like a genuine reason. Is it impossible to fix it? I mean, they've reclaimed land to build some pretty big buildings, so I suppose anything's possible. But it's just a real quirk of this track, that little bump. It kind of stops anybody getting a run down there. So, yeah. I won't sugarcoat it. I don't sugarcoat things anymore, CPV. I don't see the point. I've fit 40 now. I've reached a stage of life where, you know, you're always going to say something that annoys somebody. So there's no point trying to keep everybody happy. So just say what you're thinking and then deal with the consequences when you inevitably make Jonty cry or something, you know. Yeah, it could be nostalgia. Yeah, they've kept the bump because it's a laugh. The good old days. It's just yeah, you know, if that was on any other track, that would have been fixed the next year, you know. So here we go. Leclerc fastest, 1:14.1. Norris just behind. Then it's Antonelli. Russell only 10th on a 15.7. Antonelli, his teammate, on a 14.3. Hamilton 4th. Hulkenberg P5. So Verstappen backing up to make some space. Bortoleto has gone purple in the first sector and improved in the middle sector. What's he going to do, Gabriel Bortoleto? He goes 5th. So Audi have got some pace in Q1 at the moment. That kind of carries on from what we've seen so far this weekend. My leg's twitching. It's doing a twitch already. Monaco gets me like this in qualifying. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I was just saying Crofty has a battery, so we'll move on quickly from that. Hadjar, 8/10 up on a time he needs to get through. This is where he had his accident on Friday morning. Oh, close to the wall again. Verstappen's gone purple. He's been in the mix this weekend, and I think back to, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where he had a good first sector, good middle sector, hit the wall twice in the final sector, and then set an absolute stormer and took pole position. That would be pretty impressive. Lewis says that if they fix it, Monaco will be slightly less shit, and thus it's prohibited. There you go. That's official. That's come from Lewis. It has to be. That's official. Verstappen, again, he's got a bit of traffic here, but he was pretty rapid. We've got a new purple first sector though from Charles Leclerc on a 19.280. This just, the time's just constantly falling here. Track evolution is high. Pirelli have a scale 1 to 5. This was ranked 5 as Verstappen goes P5, funnily enough, but did have some traffic with that. I think it was a Racing Bulls. Has he made a mistake as well? So through to back looks okay there. Yeah, that race. Maybe. I don't think Liam Lawson's doing anything wrong there. May have cost his former teammates time. Norris just did a 13.7 and gone fastest. Leclerc is about to batter that, and does indeed, with a 1:13.3, basically a 1:13.4 to go 4/10 clear of Lando Norris. So yeah, there you go. I agree, RC. It is still weird seeing Max with the number 3 on his car. Still associated with that Daniel Ricciardo. Definitely. Lots of lap times being deleted, but most of them are, I assume, cars getting out of the way as Piastri goes 3rd and a 14.159. Ocon improves to P11. 1.6 off the pace. In comes Arvid Lindblad. And things will now probably, I assume a lot of cars will start to pit. Lawson's in as well. Verstappen keeps going. Now he wants to go for another lap to avoid traffic. Antonelli's going again. Not many pitting, to be fair. In fact, Lindblad's gone straight through, so I assume they're doing some quick pit stop practice there. Changing tyres, ready for another flying lap. Hopefully. But yeah, I think Martin Brundle's used a phrase more about the timing being a fruit machine. That's kind of how it is in Monaco, and you've got to try and keep up with it all. But it's always fun. It's the best qualifying of the year and the most important. It just is. One mistake, and it's over. On board with Kimi Antonelli at the minute. Russell's lost a lap time, 33.5 and a 33.5 again. So yeah, they are slow laps, cool laps, prep laps, whatever you want to call them. And probably drivers cutting chicanes to avoid other drivers on faster laps. So no mandatory 2 stoppers this weekend, in case you didn't know. We've dropped that ridiculous rule for this year. Although it was fun watching how teams could drive even slower than usual around Monaco to back everybody up to help their teammate. But yeah, it was a little bit ridiculous last year, wasn't it? But I guess it made the Sunday more fun for some people. Antonelli goes up to third, half a second off Leclerc though, 13.9. Verstappen goes fourth on a 14 flat, and here goes Lewis Hamilton, who goes third on a 13.8. So 4 tenths Leclerc back to Hamilton. Albon's lost a lap time. I don't know if he's going to count a lap time that counts, but so where is George Russell's pace? He's just got over the line, 10th place, a 14.857. He's 1.4 seconds off Leclerc. Are we gonna? This is watching Antonelli. So are we gonna get a mistake from Russell maybe at some point, or a little twitch through to back from Antonelli there? That would have been fun. Is this George? Big slider to Mirabeau. So that's where a lot of that time's gone. A good chunk of that time anyway. So, but yeah, Antonelli the quicker of the two this weekend so far. Hadjar yellow first sector, green middle sector, so he needs the purple here to complete the set. Doesn't get it, but he stays 7th, a second off the pace. Norris improving. We've got just over 6 minutes to go in Q1. Yeah, Stroll also. I mean, Cadillac have sort of a way off the next session, but they're only, Perez is 26 thousandths off Alonso, so that's pretty decent for Cadillac, all things considered. I know Aston Martin isn't the greatest benchmark, but it's a benchmark for them as a new team. An entirely new team, I should say. Except for their engine. Warden of Sol says Williams look unusually slow here. Sainz is 12th, so that's not too bad. Long way to go in this session. Still got 5.5 minutes as Leclerc is going to improve again by the look of it. As that out, I thought Alpine had been in the wall on the exit of the corner. It hadn't. It was just the camera angle. Colapinto jumps to 14th, 15.186, a tenth and a half off Ocon ahead of him. Antonelli purple in the first sector. Here's Leclerc to improve. Does indeed, a 113.293, 3.5 tenths quicker than Norris. Antonelli 134.8 has been deleted. He won't mind that. That's a shocking lap time. So I see that's an out lap. Russell is slowly becoming Giancarlo Fisichella at Renault 2.0. So Antonelli was purple in the first sector, then 4 tenths down in the middle sector, or 3.5 tenths, let's be fair, in that middle sector. So he's lost time. So we'll need to see a replay of that. Not sure what's happened there. What we're making, chat, actually, of the new winglets on these rear wings that have appeared this weekend, as Antonelli goes second on a 13.5, 3 tenths down overall. Verstappen goes second now on a 2 tenths off on a 13.4. I think some of them are quite ugly, but I like to see some innovation in F1, and I'm glad that there's still scope to do that. And, losing the active aero this weekend, teams have managed to invent something that looks a bit daft, but is clearly giving them some benefit. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. So I kind of like just seeing that innovation in F1. So Jonty was like, at least they're not as bad as the X-Wings and all that we used to have. So that's true. Russell, a clean lap, but 7th. Here's Lawson, goes up to 9th place. Racing Bulls have looked, I'm going to jinx them now, okay this weekend. I've got a real itch on the outside of my nose. Sorry. I know you don't care. I'm just letting you know. Tactic says that Carlos Sainz qualifying first. Trust. I hope so. I would pay good money to see that. Definitely. Warden of Soul says these winglets look like they are super dangerous if wet. They would split the water up into very huge clouds. And Fud says I've just been reminded of the time Arrows put a huge front wing on stilts in the middle of the front wing. Yes, right on the nose, wasn't it? In the middle of the nose, it was bizarre. Yeah, I don't know what that was. How they ever thought that was going to be okay. Black and white flag for car 12. That's Antonelli for failing to follow race director's instructions. So, slow lap, or has he not rejoined the track safely, or... Yeah. Interesting. Driving standards flag. Corner Wookie says that is there any reason for no active aero? Also, did you see the series? Ham's father is trying to get started with hybrid V10s. Just 1 second. We've got Bortoletto has stopped. I think crashed at turn 10-11 at the Nouvelle chicane. He's not moving down there. The car is not moving, so I think he's in the wall on the exit. He is indeed. That will be a red flag, but they need... See, this is what annoys me about qualifying in F1 with red flags. Throw it now. There we go. That's half a minute. Now we're going to have a faff around in the pit exit. I'll come back to that in a second, Corner Wookie. With fact, the clock's ticking. As soon as that car stopped, regardless of whether the engine's running, just stop the session so that we're not losing time. Because now we're going to have a right bat at the end of the pit lane and a faff around, and we'll have that. What we saw in, was it Canada? Was it Canada? Last time where cars didn't get the laps? Yeah, he hit the wall on the inside and broke his left front suspension. So just surprised me they don't throw the red straight away. Oh, it's a slight touch. It's the slightest of touch on the left front. It's broken the left front track rod as he's turned into the Nouvelle chicane, and then straight on, no steering. So they will restart because there's 2 minutes 11 left, but there's half a minute on there that we could have had on that. But there you go. F1 things, I guess. Yeah, I hope he's okay too, Sad Mariners fan. Oh, yeah, he's out the car. Phew, thank God. Bizarre. Yeah, shame for Bortoletto. Where was he in the end? 14th, so at least he's not... Well, he might get through from there, wouldn't he? But he's not, Hulkenberg in 6th. But yeah, no. Shame. Audi's still in it though, Pascal. Don't panic. Don't panic. Jay Webb says, wow, Perez was close to being out of the bottom 6. Yeah, he's 17th. He's got a shot here. He's only 25 thousandths off Ocon in 16th. So he's in this, Perez. Marshall's on track at turn 10, obviously, to clear the car. Just to go back to Corner Wookie asking why there's no active aero this weekend. So there are certain criteria that the FIA lay out for active aero, and one of those is, as an example, it has to be continuously active, or the track has to have an area where it can be continuously active for 3 seconds or more to stop drivers using it in short bursts, which adds to the workload and doesn't really give any kind of benefit for fuel efficiency and everything else, really, energy management, whatnot. So there's no point there, but also it's a safety concern because even though Monaco isn't the fastest track in the world, they don't really want the drivers turning up to corners with more speed, and there are several reasons in there, but there's sort of the boxes that need to be ticked, and they were never going to let it happen through the tunnel, so boxes need to be ticked. I feel like they could have had it down the start-finish straight, but they have all the data, so I'll trust them on that one. But I'm sort of glad it's not here, to be honest. We could just watch the cars getting on with it. So yeah, a few reasons, but the big ones, the 3 seconds, and the safety concerns, carrying extra speed into corners, and you know what Monaco's like. We have resumption time. One thing I will say, Monaco, absolutely unbeatable when it comes to how quickly their marshals work. They really are impressive. So, yeah. That's the short story, Corner Wookie, as to why. There were lots of other things, I'm sure, involved in that one, but hopefully that answers that. But again, I'm quite happy it's not here. So, No, you can have them at street circuits. We had it in Miami, for example. That's not is a street circuit, and it isn't a street circuit. Sort of is, sort of isn't. But yeah. The V10 says, I saw a concept car which was interesting. I haven't read up on the series itself though. I often make little notes through the weekend when things crop up that I want to read after the race weekend when I can sort of focus on it. So I might have a look at that then. But yeah, the car looks cool, but it'll never look like that because it's just a concept. So I think Singapore you could, RC, you've got, is it Raffles Boulevard? Or have I made that up? In Singapore. You could go down there with it quite easy. There's not a lot of runoff, so maybe not Singapore. We'll see. A few weeks till we get there yet, although the year is flying by every year now. My year isn't based around months anymore either. My year is based around F1. 9 years I've been doing this on various places. So I'll get into that conversation again. But yeah, it's my year is based around F1 now. I don't do months. Hey Neelish, and hey Golf Balls as well. Hope you're well. You can't let people after the crash finish the lap because they have. Oh, that's a conversation between I haven't played the Mad Ring. No, RC. I did relent and downloaded the DLC and gave it a go. It's not for me, but I might try the Mad Ring just for the sake of giving it a go. Yeah, I'll go back to the 2025 cars. Look at Nico. 45 seconds away, by the way, from a restart. So let's see what's happening. Hadjar in the garage. He's not going to get a competitive lap in, says Fudd. Yeah, I mean, Leclerc, Verstappen, I'd say Norris, Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Piastri, Russell, Albon. Hadjar should be out. Tight, isn't it, Albon and Hadjar? But I can't see Perez finding half a second. Famous last words. I'd like to see Perez find half a second. Right, here we go then. We're getting ready for the restart. I think. The Cadillac's at the end of the pit lane again. There we go. We're green again for the second part of Q1. Corner Wookie says this weird decision from Codemasters. The reason not to let the F125 cars around the Mad Ring, yes, there's no reason for that other than locking something behind a paywall, I think. But 14.5 is the projected knockout time, so Lawson down, Gasly down probably. But yeah, no, I get why they've done a DLC thing, but it is interesting they've done it at the start of a major regulation change when that would have made more sense for a fully revamped game. But you know, I'm not that fussed. I generally play an F1 game for about a week and then don't touch it again until the new one. So yeah, if you've got a spare bit of money and you fancy buying a game, I'll say it again, Forza Horizon 6 is the one you're looking for. Wait for the F1 DLC to be free to play or something at some point, or 98% off. Got a minute to go. So Hamilton out of the car. Leclerc, Verstappen, Antonelli, Norris, Hamilton, Hulkenberg all in the pits. Russell in the pits. Lawson and Bortoletto in the pits. Bortoletto crashed on courses in the pits. Lawson is in the pits. Bortoletto's car is down at the Nouvelle Chicane. So I'm not sure. I mean, Lawson isn't safe there unless he's either got a problem or he feels he's not under any threat. But here we go. We're into the last 20 seconds, so the flag is about to fall. Those who start a lap can complete it, of course, so it's not the end of the world. So he stopped in the pit lane, says Ford. I was too busy waffling away, you know what I'm like. I missed that, so... Me waffling and missing something important. Never. Just call me Crofty. So that's the flag. That is the checkered flag for Lindblad's pitted, so he's not going to get his lap in. He knew that anyway. Colapinto didn't get his lap in. So we're looking at Ocon, Bearman, Perez, Sainz, Bottas, and Alonso. Stroll didn't get out either. So, I mean, Stroll was never going to be anywhere other than somewhere where he is, 20 seconds. So, yeah. So we've got a few cars going to get laps in here. Gasly will get on Albon as well, but they're already there. So, could have been tactical Neelish. Yeah, maybe felt they wouldn't get the lap in, so why waste the tyres? Bottas stays 20th. Did he improve? Not really, no. Bearman's not improving. Nah, it's going to be a damp squib, I'm afraid. Anticlimactic. Nope. 18th. Sainz improving in the middle sector. Nothing spectacular, but we'll see. Couple of tenths needed at least, maybe 3. Sainz does. He goes 10th. That's a cracking final sector from Carlos Sainz, actually. 19.5 matches Charles Leclerc. And is quicker than Verstappen. So that is a very good final sector from Carlos Sainz in the end. Well done to him. He's through. So it looks like we're losing Ocon, Lindblad. Ocon, Perez, Bearman, Bottas, Alonso, Stroll. And that is it. Yeah, we have lost. They're the cars we've lost. So that was a little bit anticlimactic, but Carlos Sainz made it interesting at the end. Sergio Perez. Real shame, actually. What watching for Bearman here? Exit to back. Whoa. Back end out, I think. Oh, and again through the swimming pool as well. Goodness me. That could have been nasty. Time lost there. But yeah, no, Sergio Perez, a little bit gutted, actually. 25 thousandths off Ocon, which means what? Half a tenth off Q2. So it is still P18 and out for Perez, but I don't think that's a bad lap or a bad session at all for him. So Cadillac were threatening Q2 in the end, but not quite enough. So there you go. I have still not gotten used to Audi and Cadillac being the same colours on the graphic. I've changed them. You can't see them on the top. Oh, you might be able to on the track map, but you won't see it on the timing tower. I've changed the colours in the accessibility settings on multi-view. So they're different for me, but not for anybody else, obviously. On track as well, if you mean on track. Yeah. It's frustrating, but yeah, the Audi and the Ferrari are too close to each other. But yeah, P6 for Hulk. So the final times for the first session, Q1, 2 more to come, of course. Leclerc 13.2, then Verstappen, a couple of tenths back, and then Antonelli a further 10th behind. Norris is 4th, Hamilton 5th, Hülkenberg 6th, Piastri 7th, Russell 8th, Albon 9th, Sainz 10th, Hadjar 11th. Gasly was 12th, Lawson 13th, Colapinto 14th, Bortoletto 15th, Lindblad 16th, Ocon 17th, 18th for Perez. Like I say, very close to getting out. 19th Bearman, Bottas 20th, Alonso 21st, Stroll 22nd. So Ocon down are gone. 6 out. Is that right? 6, yeah. Next up, Q2. Can we talk about how it's embarrassing that Kelly beat Aston at Monaco, the least engine-dependent track on the calendar? Yeah. I'm trying to think of a defense of Aston. You know how I like to put a counterpoint across, but I don't think I can, except the Honda isn't a great engine and the car clearly isn't a good car. So they've got no updates coming until post-summer break either. So this is kind of where Aston are. Honestly, have I got flash? You've confused me, golf balls. What are you on about? Flashing lights. It might be the TV you're seeing. Flashing, but yeah. In Aston's position, I don't like saying it, but I don't know why they don't just forget this season and put everything into next season, to be honest. But because even if they bring updates after the summer break, what are they realistically going to do from there? A lot of races, to be fair, I suppose, but I just, yeah. Unlucky with that yellow. Man was so unlucky, says Bearman, with a few expletives thrown in. Yeah, the flashy lights could be the TV, because I've got my lights darker, but yeah, it's fine. It could be the Rosas. I'm a bit of a prick like that, so. So it was Sainz's lap that knocked Ocon out. That's why he's angry. We're going to see Bortoletto's crash again here. It's interesting though, isn't it, Neelish? Because we're just going to watch Bortoletto again here. He's just going to... It's this... Run it through, Ant. Come on. It's such a light tap, really. It isn't, because it's broken his suspension, but still. It's not like he's turning and walloped it. But yeah, nasty bit of damage there that cost him any hope of qualifying better than P15 in the end. But he still technically got through, didn't he? Bearman had a lot of... We saw this, didn't we, on board and off board. A lot of moments on his final flying run there. But yeah, it's interesting because we came into this season, a lot of talk was about Adrian Newey and the Adrian Newey effect, and could Aston Martin be dark horses? And I suppose they were, in the sense that nobody expected it to be quite this bad. I think, sure, Honda haven't exactly done a great job, but on a track where the Honda, it matters because it powers the car, but it doesn't matter as much as, say, in Spa. So you'd expect with an Adrian Newey chassis to be much better than 21st, 22nd and well behind the Cadillacs. But yeah, I don't think that's a comment on how good or bad Adrian Newey is as a designer and an engineer. I think if you want to know how good he is, then pick up a history book. It's quite clear how good he is, but it hasn't worked. Whatever he's... I mean, there was a lot of talk over the winter he was being too aggressive and last minute redesigns because of that and Honda, and so maybe that's a factor. But I'm interested to know what we'll hear from Aston Martin come the end of the season. I don't think we'll hear much now, but come the end of the season, how they'll debrief this season, because it's not been... I think whatever happens between now and the end of the year, that this is still embarrassing, frankly. Gasly's banging his head in the car, sort of doing that, and I don't know why. Maybe he's just annoyed at something. He's through, though. We're not far off now. Last time Honda made a bad engine, they qualified not dead last at Monaco, says Neelish. Is that true? During those dark McLaren days? Goodness me. Sainz to be noted for an unsafe release at 16:29. So that was 3 minutes ago. Local time, obviously. But the light is green at the end of the pit lane, so we are go for Q2. Ready for... finding our top 10 for the top 10 shootout. Let's see what Honda brings after the break with their upgrade, says Kevin. I mean, the rumours are a B-spec car, but I think it needs to be at least a B-spec car. I'd probably just go straight to the C-spec, to be honest. Yeah, it was Sainz that isn't unsafe release on Verstappen in the pit lane for sure, but that's generally in qualifying. That's a financial penalty for the team rather than a sporting penalty, so... I'd be surprised if that's not noted as something. Yeah. So yeah, I think just go straight to a C-spec car if I was Aston Martin. Well, you know. I guess that's another reason why Honda aren't interested in this talk of a 70-30 for next year with the power units, are they? Because they've got enough problems this year. Aston Martin has enough problems this year. The last thing they then want to do is have to go and build another power unit or make changes to the power unit they've got to accommodate these rumours of a 70-30 or talks of a 70-30, and then put Aston Martin back in that position again. So I see the debate from Audi's point of view, from Honda's point of view, but if keeping the current set of power units is to keep Audi on the grid and to keep Aston Martin and Honda on the grid, then yeah, no comment. Let's leave it at that. Let's just get on to qualifying. Gasly is going to be first to do a lap, I think, or at least he's top of the timing tower at the moment, and he's going for a lap now. Verstappen coming through as well to start his flying lap. We're going to watch him apparently on the television. Always a bonus. But yeah, round Massanelli into Casino Square for Max. We're not looking at him. We're looking at long shots for some reason rather than the car. There we go. Inter Rose obviously purple in the first sector, 20.2. Through, what do you call the hairpin? To me, it's always Lowe's hairpin. To me, that I know it's officially hotel. I think it's a longer name than that, but hotel hairpin. But to me, it's Lowe's hairpin. Is it Grand Hotel hairpin now or something like that? But it's Lowe's to me. Through the tunnel, the lovely tunnel, where Damon Hill suffered heartbreak, of course, in '96 when his Williams engine went bang. Renault, I should say, engine went bang in his Williams, and Verstappen's backed out of that one on the exit of the Nouvelle chicane. Did he back off? Or are we looking at Hadjar? I thought he backed off, but Verstappen was certainly hauling backside through there. So yeah, I don't know, prepping a bit more, I suppose. Stewie says, watch Aston turn up after the summer break with a B-spec car and randomly be top of the midfield. The funny thing is, with Adrian Newey on board, if any team's going to do that, it's going to be Aston Martin, isn't it? So, not expecting that from Cadillac, for example. But, you know, they've decided no further investigation on Sainz for his unsafe release. That was clearly an unsafe release, but they've obviously got more data than I have sat here. So, I don't really care. It would have been a financial penalty, but that's it. It's not the end of the world. Gasly fastest on a 120.2, Lawson a 121.2, Sainz a 122.6, Colapinto a 23.6, and then Lindblad goes and puts in a 22.1 to go P3. We've not had the big teams run yet. Used tyres, by the way, for Lindblad. Hulkenberg has just gone P3. Everyone else on a fresh set of soft tyres. Leclerc a 118.818. Verstappen's gone purple in the first sector, so he's on it. Hamilton goes second, 19.2. The Monaco hairpin, good one-sided canvas. That makes sense. Just say that. It's the Monaco hairpin. And Fudd says, Sainz investigated for unsafe release, plus 10-second penalty for Ocon. There you go. Yeah. Which race was that born from? That meme and whatever. That's a Bahrain race, wasn't it? Verstappen does a 13.2. Just the casual 4.3 seconds quicker than Colapinto. Sainz now goes second on a 13.9. That's a decent lap from Sainz, actually, that one. But yeah, we'll be in the 12s before the end of this session, the end of this part of qualifying. So that's not going to be fastest, but I'd be surprised if that isn't enough to get Max through there. A 13.2. He'll probably go again. Hulkenberg on a 13.9 goes third. There's Leclerc, goes fastest on a 12.9. Now we go into the 12s already. Here comes Hamilton. I thought I said Hamilton already gone second, but I was looking at the wrong driver. 113 flat for Hamilton P2. So there we go. Piastri splits the Ferraris. These times are dropping, and Hadjar's gone fourth on a 13.1, a tenth quicker than his teammate. So good luck from Hadjar there. Again, I think they're going to want to get into the 12s for Q3. Gasly goes 10th, and Colapinto stays 13th, I think. Russell 7th. Where's that pace come from McLaren is the question, but it's not the 1000th Grand Prix, Crofty. Shut up. Oh, my God. It's all I've done all weekend, so I just shut up. Anyway, are the experimental rear wing things on Mercedes and Red Bull really making a difference here, says Sighted Canvas, or asks Sighted Canvas. I don't know. I'm interested to see what the data and that comes out after the weekend suggests, but if it wasn't doing anything, it wouldn't be there. So Antonelli's just done a 112.7. And Verstappen's gone purple in the first sector. So, yeah. Piastri was slow on the driver tracker, but just making space through to back there. Yeah, the answer, I'm afraid, Sighted Cameras, I don't know at this stage, but again, like I say, if it wasn't doing anything, it wasn't working, they'd have taken it off. So it's probably giving them a bit more downforce. But the Red Bull also has some sort of spikes on the rear wing as well, which you're probably going to struggle to see if you haven't seen some photos. There you go. You can see it as they come through Rascast there. Some spikes on the left and right hand side of the rear wing there. So they're adding down forces. Verstappen goes second, 600ths off Antonelli fastest. 7:40 still to go in Q2. Then we've got Q3, of course. Here goes Lawson. Goes 9th, and we'll just see Lindblad over the line. He's the next one closest to the line. Hulkenberg's on a lap as well. Lindblad, here he comes. Drops to 14th and then climbs to nowhere. Stays 14th, 1:14.355. Neelish said, I heard rear wing bits may only be worth hundredths of a second, but every little bit counts for Monaco quali. Exactly, mate. I mean, Antonelli's 600ths quicker than Verstappen, so that answers your question there, or your point there straight away, doesn't it? Or proves your point there. So that's a very good point. Don't forget, Bortoleto won't be doing a lap. What are those yellow arrows? They're the yellow arrows in Monaco. They flash at pit exit when a car is in the pit lane exit to warn drivers that are coming flat out down the straight not to cut into the pit entry because there's a car there exiting the pit lane. It's to stop what could be quite a spectacular accident. Hulkenberg, by the way, has been noted for failing to follow race director's instructions, which could be a time thing as well. So, yeah, those yellow arrows are pretty big, aren't they? And they do catch your attention, so at least they're working. At least you know, corner Wookie, not to not to cut across the pit entry. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I was just checking. I was going to call you Kieran when I saw corner Wookie, and I was like, "Is that it?" I'm sure Kieran is corner Wookie, but I'll just check first. Wanted to be sure. Leclerc's got purple in the middle sector, by the way, so he's on one. A bit more high pitch there than I needed to be, I think. As Hulkenberg will be investigated after the session, so we'll see what they decide there and what that's about. Wait for the documentation, which you'll have to pop to the FIA website for that one. Leclerc goes second fastest. So this is, I mean, we are only Q2. We've got 5.5 minutes left of Q2. Yeah, the tunnel is turn 9. You're right, Fud. So what's happened in there? I wonder if the race... I should go and look to that. I wonder if the race director is saying that if you are if you're slow through the tunnel, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're not allowed to go slow through the tunnel, maybe. Or you have to be on a specific line through there. Or a minimum speed. And maybe he's breached that. Because that can get scary through there. Ask Isack Hadjar from his F2 days a few years back. A moment that reminds us just how incredible the reflexes are and reactions are of an F1 driver or a motor racing. Dino Zamparelli springs to mind. Spa. I seem to have a wet day and he should have crashed into somebody but somehow managed to swerve out the way. I think it was Dino Zamparelli. I might be wrong. Yeah. Incredible reactions at times. But yeah, cars start to go in the pits now. It'll go quiet for a little while, but not for long, hopefully. In fact, we're seeing more racing pit stops today than... that's at least the third I've been watching today. So Hamilton's got some fresh tyres going straight back out again. So yeah, helmet cam is fantastic in Monaco, isn't it? Yeah, really see how much their heads have to move and everything they're having to look out for whilst trying not to stick the car in the wall, whilst also trying to play around the steering wheel with all the settings on these cars. It's quite incredible. Just watching on board again. I love this front the nose cam on these cars. When you just watch the front wing flaps and you just see the flexing. It's just incredible to watch. Even around Monaco, it's not, somewhere else it'd be, you wouldn't really see it, so have the straight mode zones, but here we haven't got straight mode, so I'd like to stay on board for this all the way down to Raskas if we can. We can see that QMB logo on the McLaren, and when he brakes, it starts to disappear. I just love stuff like that. It's, yeah, great stuff. Could also be could be what Kimi got the flag for, but Kimi got a black and white flag, so I wonder if there are sort of stages to how the FIA police that. Unless Kimi had done it a couple of times, of course. Albon and Lindblad have been noted for a pit lane incident, so we'll see if that comes to anything. Don't know what that could be. It's been quite I mean, look, I love Monaco quality. It's been quite relentless, hasn't it? Even when cars are pitting, they're pretty quickly back out on track, if not via a racing pit stop. So the track is ramping up all the time here. So this is great stuff. This if you're new to F1, this is why we love Monaco qualifying more than we love the Monaco race. I'd almost argue we need a sprint race on a Saturday. Or even a Grand Prix on a Saturday to set the running order for qualifying on Sunday or something like that. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along. I'm on the fly here. But yeah, let's move the race to Saturday and have quali on the Sunday. I'm not sure how we'd do that, but, it'd be a laugh, wouldn't it? Time trials on a Sunday. Sprint on a Saturday. There you go. I'm joking. Monaco Grand Prix still special, even if it's... it can be a bit dull. Let's put it that way. Schumacher was... missing his lightning reactions time when he said hello to the back of Coulthard's car. Yeah. Although Coulthard did deliberately slow there to take him out of the race completely on purpose, Kevin. You know this. We've had this conversation. Like when Villeneuve deliberately made Schumacher sneeze by throwing pepper out the car in Jerez. If you're new to the channel, by the way, I'm not being serious. I'm a big Schumacher fan. He's my hero, so I will deliberately go out my way to find the most ridiculous way to defend him I can, because it makes Kevin and others laugh. It's not serious. I know what he did. 33 projected knockout time. Although that one at Spa with Coulthard and Schumacher is one of the best Murray Walker commentary moments as well. That's a genuine reaction because Murray Walker's commentary there was, I'd wager, everybody's reaction when they saw it. It was certainly mine. Yeah. If you remember what it is, pop it in chat. Just 2 words, and one of them's not even a word, really. It's a noise. Oh, cameraman's fallen over. There we go. He's okay. Russell's pace is not... I mean, look, it's not bad. I'd be impressed at that if it was me, but, he's not... His teammate, for example, Purple in the middle sector, nearly 3/10 quicker than his own time. Lost the stream here. I think we've probably lost the stream, which would be very, very typical. No? Yes? No? I think we're okay. I think it's back. It may have gone down for a moment. Yeah, it's back. There we go. Yeah, it definitely went down for me. I thought it had. I meant to say at the start, we'll just see qualifying through quickly because we're at the checkered flag. Hadjar goes through 112.7. He's third. So Red Bull's pace is suddenly ramped up here. George Russell, I don't want to declare he's okay, but it's going to be close here for him. But I think he's okay, George. It's Albon, Sainz, Hülkenberg. He should be okay. We shall see. But yes, I was just going to say, I meant to say at the start, if the stream goes down, we have had issues with our internet this week, but we've also, on... Not last night, Thursday night, the whole street lost power for a couple of hours. So we've been having intermittent power for a couple of weeks now. So if it does all cut out, that's why. And if I can get back, I will. But yeah, I think it was just a big lag. I've refreshed, everything's working. So as long as you can, as long as everything's fine, your end, everyone's saying everything's back now, so that's okay. But yeah, just to confirm then, after all that drama of the technical issues, Alex Albon, P11, Carlos Sainz, P12, Hülkenberg, P13, Colapinto, 14, Lindblad, 15, Bortoletto, 16. They are all out. Bortoletto, of course, crashing in Q1. The Williams air of Albon hitting the inside of the barrier at the exit swimming pool there. But it's interesting there for me. Hülkenberg out. That's a bit of a surprise with his pace. Also, Williams coming good towards the end of the session there. I mean, Albon was a quarter of a tenth away from the top 10 shootout. Sainz was just 300ths further back. So Williams were right in the mix there towards the end, but then I got distracted by technical issues. So there we go. Yeah, apologies for that, but not a lot I can do when we have... I assumed I had a copyright strike. I assumed FOM were on one again for no reason, but all good now. So Verstappen ended that session fastest. We have somebody else in the mix for pole position. It all looked like it was Ferrari after yesterday. Then this morning, it all looked like it was going to be Mercedes and specifically Antonelli. suddenly turns up Verstappen and Hadjar. So this is going to be a really good qualifying session, a really great final 12 minutes of the session, which we're going to get started very, very soon. So make sure you stick around for this. Get your predictions in chat then. Who's going to get pole position? Let me know your top 3 if you want. Obviously, my official predictions don't change. From Wednesday. Leclerc on pole. But I'm going to go with Antonelli today in my live predictions. So let me know what you think in chat. I'll read a few out in just a few minutes before we get going for the session. But yeah, I'm going to go Antonelli, but I'd love it to be Max. I'd love it to be Kimi. I'd love it to be Charles. I'd love it to be Isack. That'd be amazing. Anyone else outside of a big shock like a Lawson or a Gasly, not too fussed. But yeah, no, I'll be happy with those. So it's going to be, as much as I'd love to put Hadjar in the mix for it, I think we're looking at anyone from Leclerc, Hamilton, Antonelli, Verstappen, unless McLaren. I mean, McLaren aren't, I mean, they're hadn't, 4/10 off, but I mean, the way the track ramps up and that final push from drivers on that final flying lap, you never know. Like I say, Max Verstappen a few years ago, good first sector, good middle sector, hits the barrier twice in the final sector, including on the start-finish straight, takes pole with an absolutely incredible final sector. So it can happen. It can happen. What are you saying in chat then? We've got... Professional Moron says Verstappen for pole. Flood says still feel like Hamilton, Verstappen, Antonelli. Warden of Souls says Kimi puts it in front row here. Nobody can say it's just the car anymore. The kid is special. Are people already saying it's the car, Warden of Souls? This is why I deleted the social media apps off my phone, because it is just so... Same crap. As soon as somebody starts to do well, it's all the car. You know nothing about Formula One then. That's fine. Kimi, Max and Charles, or Chuck, says Kevin. Van Dorn, that'll be a true shock, says Kieran, absolutely. Either Kimi or Charles for CPB. Sad Mariners fan says the one weekend I say Norris will be good, he lets me down. This is why you don't support Norris. Welcome to the Ferrari pay, mate. M. Harati says Leclerc. King Gannon or Rocket Raku, whichever you want, says Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen. Sighted Canvas says either Leclerc or Antonelli. For pole, it's going to be tight. Stewie says Verstappen, Antonelli, Hamilton. Pascal says disappointed with the Audi in qualifying unless it is a bit crazy race. This will be another weekend without points. And Warden of Souls says Antonelli, Norris and Hadjar. CPB says it's always been the car. I mean, look, you're not going to win a Formula One World Championship by running. You need a car, and you need that car to be good. But when people make out like it's just the car, it's like you just know nothing about Formula One, do you at all? Clearly, or motorsport. Yes, the car is a massive part of it, but the driver's got to be able to extract everything from that and deliver the performances and the results and not slam it in the wall. And, you know, especially around Monaco. You know, the car is still a huge part of it in Monaco, but the driver probably holds an even bigger part or plays a bigger part in Monaco than anywhere else. So, yeah, I'm with you, Warden of Souls. But I was there anyway with Kimi. Pascal says Hamilton, Antonelli, Leclerc. I'll call you Steve then, King Gannon. Why not? Not too surprised about Audi's performance. Monaco is one of the few tracks where turbo lag affects quality results or quality laps, as Neelish. Ricky Bobby won a race by running, says Kevin. I mean, he won the Monaco Grand Prix with, was it an MG UK missing, basically? So, yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Kieran. Look at what Verstappen last year was doing in a bad car, still nearly won and had arguably the greatest season of ever. I mean, was he 2 points off a title in the end last year? Verstappen, and he was 100 and something back. I know McLaren were determined to throw that championship away in the end for some reason, but there we go. Here we go. 5 seconds to go until Q3. We haven't got a Cadillac at the end of the pit lane because they're not in this session, of course. But here we go. Q3 in Monaco. I'm going to say the most important Q3 of the season. And the McLarens are straight out on track. So here we go. When do they race in Hungary? That's quite similar to Monaco Society Canvas, and they completely resurfaced the track too. They end of July. for Hungary just before the summer break. And MotoGP was racing in Hungary today for the sprint, if anyone saw that. I'll not spoil it in case people are waiting for later, but yeah, impressive. That's all I'm going to say. We've got cars heading out on track now. Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, Lawson heading out there. It'd be interesting what Lawson and Gasly can do. I suspect they're in a battle for P9. That said, Pierre Gasly can stitch a lap together, can't he, sometimes? Your feed must be 4 seconds ahead of me here. Can you speak slower, Sean? No, I can't. People have been asking me to speak slower for 9 years, Kevin. It's not going to happen. I speak quite like a normal pace in normal life, but then F1 starts and I get all excitable and I can't stop. I guess that's a good thing, really. It means I'm still enjoying it, but, you know, it drives people crazy. One day I'll slow it right down in editing, just for the embarrassment. Yeah, listen faster, Kevin. That's a great response, citing cameras. Yeah, Kevin, listen faster. I like that. I'm having that. How about you listen faster? Yeah, I like that. Anyway, just waiting for them to start their first flying laps here. Yes, the MotoGP spoiler is that the rider that crossed the line first won. It was impressive, though. I think. All things considered. Charles Leclerc, who watching him now, home Grand Prix, of course. He does like a pole position in Monaco, Charles, doesn't he? 3? Is it now for him? Maybe. Kimi Antonelli, just starting his first flyer as well. I don't know if we're going to go straight into flying laps, whether we get a couple of warm-up laps. I'm not sure. Preparation laps is the phrase I'm looking for rather than warm-up laps. Yeah. I was going to say who remembers the Sunday morning warm-up, but I might be, you know, I don't know. Let's go back a long way. Piastri, Norris. Norris is an 18.3, Piastri 19.1. I mean, they are not fully competitive. I mean, even that from Leclerc, 16.6 is 1.6 quicker than Norris, and that's still not a competitive tie. So we're going to be down in the 112s. But Piastri now picking it up here, 19 flat in the first sector, so closer. I think we're looking at about an 18.9. 18.9 from Q2 was the fastest first sector. So it's in the mix here, Piastri. Hamilton goes fourth, 120.1. So Piastri is, I'm going to see what he does through this middle sector here. Purple again, 53.2, so that's a 34.2. So it's a little bit up on, slightly down, sorry, on the fastest we've had from Antonelli. 19.1 is the fastest in the final sector. From Antonelli. So this is going to be, at the moment, the fastest time, unless Piastri somehow cocks it up on the straight. Should be okay. Goes fastest on a 12.9, 19.6. That is half a second down on the fastest final sector of the day so far. So Norris, that's better, 112.7. He's a little bit quicker there than his teammate, a 10.5, but still down. Antonelli, purple in the first sector with an 18.941, the fastest of the day so far. Wow. That's been beaten though by one, you might have heard of him, Max Verstappen, a 118.910. He's been around a bit. Russell a little bit quicker, but there's Hamilton on a 12.553. So Ferrari are back in it here. I'd say not purple in any of the sectors thus far now. He goes third, Russell, on a 12.8. Antonelli does go fastest in the final sector with a 112.3 overall. Hamilton's got a black and white flag for failing to follow race directed instructions. Verstappen's middle sector is not bad. It's his best He's in the mix here with Antonelli, and he goes second by 1,000th of a second. This is on between Antonelli and Verstappen. We've got Hadjar coming through as well. He goes 6th fastest, but my word, 1,000th of a second. You can't even fart in 1,000th of a second. That's incredible. Around Monaco, 2 different cars, 2 different drivers. Wow. And it's not that far back to Hamilton and Norris, relatively speaking. I mean, a chunk back to Norris at 4/10. But where's Charles Leclerc? What happened to him? Norris lap time deleted for track limits at turn 10. Hamilton's got a black and white flag. What happened to Leclerc then? Up at Massenate. Oh, big oversteer at turn 3. Had to correct that and then backs out of it. So that's why Charles Leclerc is only P10. Used tyres, by the way, for Gasly in 9th place, just to let you know. So he's got some time on the table yet. That's incredible. 1,000th of a second. I thought Max just nicked it. Also, some is that oversteer it is. Oh, it touches the wall there, the McLaren, on the exit of Rascasse or La Rascasse. Wow. I'm rocking in the chair. My legs twitching. It's all going off here. Lindblad's been reviewed for no further investigation. I have a quick swig of my really amazing juice. Because this could be quite an incredible last 6 minutes here. I'm not ruling out Leclerc yet, or Hamilton. But it would be very in keeping with my Ferrari fandom for Ferrari to build up my expectations on a Friday and then dump all over them on a Saturday. So, I mean, it's not a great shock, is it? But yeah, Leclerc, he's going out first here. Big oversteer at turn 3, which cost him time, so backed out of that one. So he's going to go again. He's going in the gap. I've got a feeling now, I mean, by the time he gets around to the pit, surely he's going to get a load of traffic. So I assume Leclerc is just going to stay out now for the next 5 minutes and try and get a couple of runs in. Because I suppose his first run didn't really count for anything. Well, it didn't count for anything. He's 10th, so... Yeah, I was just wondering, Sad Mariners fan, about warm-ups and preparation laps and what Max was doing, because he wasn't great, was he, initially? So it could have been traffic, or he does need the 2 prep laps. So he's going to have to get there before they start. I'm watching the track map now. 0.5 seconds between P1 and P7, says Sighted Canvas. Yeah. 0.541 to be specific, but the gaps in between them, I mean, Russell 600ths off Norris, Hadjar 600ths off Russell, Piastri 300ths off Hadjar, a bit of a jump to Norris to Hamilton, for example, of 2/10, and Hamilton to Verstappen of best part of 2/10, or a 10th and 2/3, whatever, I don't know. But yeah. Oh, look, it's Kim Kardashian. Hands up all those who give a shit. Nobody. There you go. Fine. You can tell I'm filling now. So Charles Leclerc, here we go. So he's got Gasly ahead of him. But that is all the traffic he's got. Lawson was well out of the way. So Charles Leclerc, 19.2 is 3/10 down. So is he going... Is this everything he's got? Or is this going to be one of those banker laps and then go for another run? We'll find out. We're about to find out, aren't we? But yeah, I'm speculating on something that we'll have an answer to in about 3 minutes. So, but not a great first set, not a bad first sector for Leclerc, but it's going to sit him. Well, it is. It's going to sit about 8th at the moment on that, but I'm sure he's going to have some more speed. Middle sector, 34.9. No, this is bad. This is a bad lap from Leclerc. I think he's backing out of it. Surely this is a preparation. If that's all he's got, that is not good. No, he's back well out of that. That is not all he's got. It can't be. That's not me clutching. He genuinely hasn't. What time did Kimi put in, or Kim K put in? What times is 2 left feet? Well, probably a 1:95. Because then F1 can keep showing her. I assume. Leclerc's going again then, straight away. I suppose that's the thing with these cars. You don't need the lap to recharge. That's a bit better there. He's still a 10th down though, Leclerc. 19 flats. The first sector not great, but I seem to Has he been stronger in the middle sectors generally, Charles, this weekend? Or am I thinking of somebody has? That means nothing, does it, to anybody? Who cares? 0.4 seconds on cams. Yeah, 0.4 seconds too many. Purple minis, says Fud, so that's good. I need to get the mini sectors put on my timing, actually. That'll make more sense for me. I can read them then. But yeah, I like the 3 sectors. Here he comes through to back. And just on the exit, this he'll cut the purple. There we go, 34 flat. Will he get another lap in? Will the tyres be okay for another lap? They should be around Monaco. That's a great middle sector. I did say it was good in the middle sector. Around a little tight through Raskas, I thought there, but on turning. But he's okay. Gets it planted on the exit of the final corner. Down the start-finish straight. And Charles Leclerc goes P1 by a quarter of a tenth. So here we go. We've got 1 minute and 50 left. Sean's voice has gone up. He's getting excited now. Here we go. Final runs. I think Leclerc can go again here. He's got time to get round. I'm all stressed and excited at the same time now. I love this. I love it. By the way, please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Live tomorrow with the race reaction shortly after the checkered flag. Drop a like on the stream as well, please. That'd be great. Helps in the algorithm massively. And of course, we've got the preview on Wednesday for the Barcelona Catalonia Grand Prix and then the qualifying watch along and race reaction for Barcelona as well. So it'll be great to have you on board for those and the rest of the season as we now hit some momentum in the season finally. So, but that's the YouTuber stuff done. Thank you for your support today. Great to have you with me. Love spending Saturdays with you all and post-race on a Sunday. So looking forward to that for the rest of the season. Let's build this community. We love it. Let's watch the rest of qualifying then. 55 seconds to go. What's happening out there? Norris in 19 flat. Verstappen's just done an 18.8 in the first sector. That is a hell of a first sector from Max Verstappen. Antonelli hasn't started his lap yet. 19.3 for Lawson, 92 for Gasly. Gasly goes 9th on a 1:13.226, 3/10 off Piastri or Piastri, whoever, whatever, you know who I mean. Piastri's lap is not great here. Yellow and yellow. Will he get another run in? He should do, but it's not a great lap this from Piastri. So he's going to have to go again unless he backs out straight away. What's he thinking? Well, 5th at the moment. Max Verstappen ever so slightly up. Ever so 600ths up. On Charles Leclerc, we know what Max Verstappen can do in the final sector. We've seen it before. Are we going to see it again? Lewis Hamilton's just gone purple in the middle sector. He's now in the mix. This could be anyone's. Leclerc, Antonelli, Verstappen, Hamilton over the line as the flag comes out. Verstappen goes fastest on a 1:12.094. I'll back off from the mics. I'm getting too excited. There goes Lewis Hamilton into P2 on a 1:12.2. Russell is improving all over. Is it going to be anywhere near? I mean, he's at an 18.9 in the first sector as Hadjar goes 5th. This is going to be, here comes Antonelli to the line. He's just up on Verstappen. Kimi Antonelli, it's Russell over the line in 6th. He's one to watch here, Antonelli. He's not purple, but overall this lap, he is slightly up on Verstappen. Here he comes. We've got a yellow flag. He's going to get over the line. Kimi Antonelli takes pole position at the death by 0.04 of a second. Something has happened to Leclerc at the back, I think. He has got going. We're on board, but it is Kimi Antonelli on pole position again. And Max Verstappen in P2, less than half a tenth between them. Yeah, Leclerc's hit the wall at the back. His right rear is wonky. So he's been given everything. What was he doing there? He's pulled off actually 18.9. So he was in the mix to Leclerc for pole. So he goes into the back. Oh, back end gets away on the way in and then clonk into the barrier. Charles Leclerc, he was in the mix, 18.9 in that first sector, 34.4 in the middle before he hit the wall or just after. It depends when that fell, really. But yeah, that's a shame for Leclerc. But it is Kimi Antonelli on pole position. Max Verstappen half a tenth off it with Lewis Hamilton P3, Charles Leclerc P4. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why we love qualifying in Monaco. That is why we call it the best session of the season and the most important one. That was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, right to the wire. A mistake from a pole position contender. Whew. Wow, Do you know what? I don't know if I speak for anybody else, but can we just forget the Grand Prix tomorrow and do this again? That was great fun. Open up Part Ferme. Let's go again tomorrow. Half points today, 12.5 for Kimi Antonelli, down to 10th place. And then we'll go for another half points tomorrow. That was brilliant. But yes, I'll run through the order properly in a minute. So yeah, if you like that one, please do drop a like on the stream. That was that all got very exciting in the end. I thought Verstappen had it. And then Antonelli had done 2 green sectors, but I looked across at the TV at that point and he was 600ths up. And I thought, hang on a minute, he's not doing purples, but he's in this. And then, I'll tell you what that lap is from Kimi Antonelli. Hit none of his sectors of purple, but he's pole, because that was just a very clean, consistent lap. I mean, he was down in the first sector, up in the second sector, down in the third sector. It's just one of those consistent laps. So, yeah. Wow. And I know mistakes can happen in Monaco. Ask Daniel Ricciardo about pit stop mistakes as well. He'll let you know what can happen there. Valtteri Bottas, who had a wheel on for 6 years. Was the Bottas stuck wheel? Was that something like 48 hours before they got it off? So, you know, things can happen, but if he gets away first off the line, Kimi Antonelli, with the pace that Mercedes has and how impossible it is to pass around Monaco, you'd be a brave person to bet against him making it 5 in a row tomorrow. But that's impressive. What a session, though. Again, please do thumbs up the stream for that session. Show F1 you love Monaco, though. Then we might get... Let's have Monaco qualifying every weekend, but for a different Grand Prix. I'm not sure how the logistics work on that. I'm just going to take 15 seconds to have a quick slug of a drink. Then I'll run through the order for the timestamp for later. Then I'll take your comments and questions and some reaction, and then we'll make some predictions for tomorrow. So give me 15 seconds. You can count them. Right then. Kimi Antonelli is on pole position for the 2026 Monaco Grand Prix. What a session it was as well. Pipping Max Verstappen with his final lap by less than half a tenth. It was so close in the end. Great lap from Antonelli. Great lap from Verstappen. Even Lewis Hamilton right at the death there with that purple middle sector. I thought he might nick it, but didn't quite. He's P3. Charles Leclerc was in the mix for pole. Certainly based on his first sector time. In fact, his first sector time was just a little bit slower than Kimi Antonelli, but then he hit the wall at to back with his right rear, and that was game over there. Isack Hadjar, actually really great result for him there, P5 in the Red Bull. George Russell, where's the pace this weekend, George? Not good. 11 hundredths, a hundredth of a second off Hadjar in P6 there, Russell. Piastri 7th and Norris 8th, so there was some promise earlier in the day, or earlier in the qualifying session. McLaren might be in the mix, but they were well off in the end. Pierre Gasly 9th, he did win that battle with Lawson for that 9th place, with Liam Lawson in P10. We lost Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. I believe, as I recall, Alex Albon was a quarter of a tenth off Q3, so actually, with Sainz only 300ths further back, that was a really good showing from Williams today. Nico Hülkenberg, 13th. I know a couple of you in chat have said that's not a surprise with Audi, but given the pace they've shown this weekend, I'm quite surprised that he didn't make the top 10, actually. But interested to read their press release later to see what they say. But a 13.9 for him, P13. 14th for Colapinto, 15th for Lindblad. Gabriel Bortoleto was 16th, did get through Q1, but he crashed at the Nouvelle chicane, hit the wall on the inside corner, and then went straight off into the wall on the exit with a broken suspension. No, yeah, pretty standard there for that kind of thing. You're going to end up in the wall. That brought out the red flag. Obviously, he was then out of the session, but did get into 16th. Ocon was 17th, just missed out after Carlos Sainz put in a great lap in Q1 to get through. Sergio Perez was 18th, but we worked out he was not far off Q2 at all. So improvement there for Cadillac this weekend. Bearman 19th, Bottas 20th, and then you'll be very shocked, I'm sure, to hear that Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin is 21st, and Lance Stroll in the other Aston Martin is 22nd. Stroll, by the way, 7/10 slower than his teammate. So, could I argue Fernando Alonso is getting everything out of that car he can, and Lance Stroll is leaving something on the table, or is that just is 7/10 to Alonso decent for Stroll? I don't know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, those are your final results for qualifying as it stands. A couple of investigations. Hulkenberg's got an investigation. The Lindblad one has been waved away, so that's fine. But I don't know what those are for. They could be to do with the tunnel. Because I think the turn 9 incident involving Hulkenberg will be investigated after the session. Failure to follow race director's instructions. We're debating whether that's driving too slowly in the tunnel or being on the wrong line through there when he was driving slowly. So we'll see what comes of that. But that is pretty much your grid for tomorrow. So well done to Kimi and Antonelli. I'll be live for a little bit now. We'll do at least another 15-20 minutes yet of Q&A, and we'll predict some results tomorrow. If you are disappearing, then thank you so much for joining me for this one. Please do drop a like on the stream before you go, and subscribe if you are new. Like I say, live tomorrow shortly after the race has finished with the race reaction. Then we've got the preview for the Barcelona-Catalunya Grand Prix on Wednesday. That'll be 4 p.m. ish BST. Then we're live again for qualifying for the qualifying session. The qualifying watch along for the qualifying session in Barcelona, and then live again shortly after the race for the race reaction on Sunday. So likes and subs greatly appreciated. But if you've got any questions, any comments, I'll come to in chat now. We'll read through those. We'll just keep an eye on anything happening, see if we get any announcements, but unlikely at this stage. The FIA likes to take the time on a Saturday, so that was fantastic. I'm going to say, it says QWJ68 Boots. I'll call you Boots. It's cracking commentary, Sean. Thank you so much. So see you tomorrow. Viva Kimi for 5 straight. Thank you very much, mate. I'm going to check who you are, actually, because you might have an actual name. You know what? It's Quinn. Hi, Quinn. There you go. There we go. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. What are the odds of Antonelli winning the title this year and then retiring to spend the rest of his days playing Mario Kart as a professional moron? I mean, I would. Why not? Was I 13 seconds? Nice. I was only 2 seconds off the count. Nice one. I don't know if I was muted. Could just have been you. Hopefully that's not... if I'm still muted, this has all gone wrong. No, I'm okay. I'm making noise. It's fine. Thank you, though, Kieran. You had me panic there. It's all gone wrong today on the technical side of things, hasn't it? So, what do you think of Lewis and Kim as a couple, says Kieran. Get out, Kieran. Go on. Shoo. Not having it. Kevin's gone. Take care, mate. Hope your daughter has a good afternoon with the Steel Pan Group. I've got it in my head what I think that is, but I'm not going to say in case I'm wrong. But yeah, hopefully that all goes okay, mate. Thank you for your company. Sad Mariners fan says, do you think Stroll has checked out? I made a comment, a flippant comment in testing. And I was starting to wonder if there might be some truth to it. I said something along the lines of, I can't help but get the feeling that Lance Stroll is in that car because Lawrence Stroll wants Lance Stroll to be in that car, not because Lance Stroll wants to be there. I don't know why. I just get the feeling like it's more about Lawrence Stroll wanting his son there than his son actually wanting to be there. That was a flippant comment, but maybe it's true. I don't know. But no, I don't think he's checked out, but I don't fancy driving that car, to be honest. It's not fun, is it? But then I find that Lance Stroll never looks particularly happy anyway. So maybe that's just his demeanour to the media. Maybe behind the scenes he's a lot more kind of like, we need to sort this out or whatever, or a bit more active or a bit more passionate with it. But to the media, he's certainly not. But that might just be his front-facing personality, if that makes it, or media-facing personality. Jamie says, hey, Jamie, mate, says, do you know the last time a pass for the lead on the track was made at Monaco was Hill on Alesi in 1996? Crofty did a similar... I'm not saying you're wrong, Jamie. Crofty did a similar stat. Yes, it was the 1980s, but I don't know if that was a different... I'm not sure. You might be right, he might be wrong, but I know it's been a long time. Just to confirm, it is 2026. 1996 was 30 years ago. It's incredible. Where the hell has that time gone? Again, breaking news. Sean shocked by the concept of the passage of time. It happens all the time. Russell is bad this year, says Murray. However, if you put a clause in the contract that you get retained if you are ahead of your teammate in points, Merc are going to make sure you aren't ahead, especially with Max on the market, says Murray. I think in the ideal world for Mercedes, they wouldn't have to make a change next year. And the last I read is that Red Bull were hopeful that Max Verstappen will stay with them for next year. So the Hat Pro says wait until he finds out about inflation. Yeah. I know Freddo's. I know what inflation is. I see it on a Freddo every single time I go in a shop. God. The 80s one was Alberto on Prost in 85. Is it Alberto or Alboreto? But someone on Twitter said it was 96. Twitter is never wrong. If Twitter have said it, mate, we have to take that as gospel, I'm afraid. I was just they've got some interesting artwork that they've got on Sky this weekend. I was just going to say, could you imagine living in Monaco and it's Grand Prix weekend? But then I thought we could end that and it's Could you imagine living in Monaco? Imagine the money you'd have. Screw F1, get on your yacht. I don't know if you do fishing, I know that's a thing, but there you go. On your yacht, I certainly would try it. Yeah, just wow. Just on your balcony. Although I imagine it quite pricey, as I understand it. How worried is Russell right now as it's looking bad for him, says Stewie? I don't know anybody else. I'll ask you directly, Stewie, because you've asked the question, and I don't know how anybody else feels about it. But this season is just weird. It doesn't feel something feels off in the sense that we're in June, but I feel like we should be further into. It feels like the season's been longer than it has, and I know that we had that break, and that's maybe why. So the weeks without races have dragged a bit, and that might be why it feels like that. But it still feels too early to be at panic stations for Russell. But we did only lose 2 Grand Prix. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. But the year just feels weird. I feel like we should be at like round 10 or something. You can say we are round 10. But whatever. Yeah, anyway. It's hard to kind of... Normally, after a third of the season, we'll judge things and start to sort of see who's doing a good job, who isn't. But I feel like we're now looking more towards the summer break before making those conclusions. It just feels like a weird season, and it could get weirder. I don't know what. I've not been keeping up on the news because it's just the world is just so depressing. I don't bother with it anymore. But I don't know what the situation is like in the Middle East. But it could yet get worse. We could lose a Baku, for example. We could lose Qatar and Abu Dhabi, which would be so brutally sad. But it's just a weird year. Although my dad said to me the other day, he doesn't really follow F1, and he said, I bet you're quite glad to see these races getting cancelled. And I went, why? And he just went, well, with the way these regulations apparently are, surely the shorter the season the better. And I was like, he might have a point there for some people, but yeah, no, I was like, no, Dad, there's still plenty going on, and that qualifying session shows there's still plenty going on and plenty to enjoy. So let's hope the race tomorrow is as good as Monaco can be. Whatever that is. If it has to be nose to tail procession, keep it nose to tail, so one mistake really does make a difference. But I mean, like I said it twice already in the stream, that if the F2 sprint is anything to go by, I wouldn't get too excited. But that was great fun. Qualifying was great fun. I'd like to start a petition to end the season with Brazil. I'll be honest, Zach, mate. First of all, hello. Hope you're okay. I'll be honest, I quite happily have a petition to have Brazil 3 times a year. First race of the season, right before the summer break, and then the final race of the season. I love that track. Antonelli reminds me of Raikkonen, says Pascal. Blisteringly fast and with no fear, this kid has all the ingredients to be an F1 great. Hey, Kaori, how are you? I hope you watched that, Kaori. That was a cracking session. Just a random human on the internet, 6080. Hey, says did Leclerc crash on his final lap? He came through to back, his back end got away, and he's hit the wall with his, I don't know what this is, but he's hit the wall with his right rear and damaged it. So he was in the fight for pole position. He did an 18.986 in the first sector, which was just marginally slower, half a tenth slower than Antonelli, so he was in the mix for pole, but then he's obviously gone and clunked the wall, and had he matched his middle sector, he would have been well in the mix, his fastest middle sector. Then if he'd have to improve his final sector, but yeah, hit the wall, unfortunately. But I mean, Ferrari will come away from this bitterly disappointed with 3rd and 4th. As a Ferrari fan, it's complicated, okay, right? It's bitterly disappointing as a Ferrari fan, given all the hype ahead of the weekend that I helped add to, of course, with my predictions and my hope for the weekend. The way the pace was yesterday, to see them third or fourth is really bad, but actually, in the context of the season, that's not awful, if that makes sense. But it's also hard to be too disappointed because two of my drivers are in the top two. Or two of the drivers I want to win the World Championship are in the top two, so it's not too bad. So, yeah. Dear Kimi, you are going into turn one at Monaco with Max next to you, says the Haprust, and he has nothing to lose. Cheers and good luck. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Max can afford to stick a nose in. It's not going to cost him a title, is it? But Antonelli can't afford to have Max stick a nose in because, I mean, the start tomorrow, I will say this, the start tomorrow, actually, it's just, you reminded me of something else, actually, Hat, so thank you. Kimi, bit of a slow starter this year at the start of Grand Prix. Max Verstappen has had mixed starts, to say the least. The Ferraris are the best off the line. We're not going to get four wide into turn one because it just can't happen. But that could be a very interesting drag to turn one tomorrow. Kimi might have to do a bit of a chop at the start and then do some weaving. It's not a long run to turn one, to be fair. But yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. I will correct again. I don't use these streams to bitch about Sky, but I will just make a point again. Crofty said in commentary yesterday during FP2, I think, that Kimi Antonelli has lost positions off the line at every Grand Prix this year. He has not. He passed George Russell on the run to turn one in Canada, and then Norris took them both. So Antonelli went into turn one having started second in first, so he gained a place and then dropped to second, which is where he started anyway in turn one. So he hasn't at every race, he has at every other race, but not at Canada. So I like to correct things. I'm often wrong. I get things wrong. I'm an idiot. It happens. But I'm not paid to do it. I'm not paid a fortune to do this. So, in fact, I'm not paid at all. But there you go. So, yeah. Whether it's that or the 1000th Grand Prix, I'm going to call it out. So there you go. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Kimi has had bad starts for most of the season. So, are you excited for the World Cup in the US of A? Says Max. More so than I was Qatar, but not really. I didn't watch a single game of the Qatar World Cup, and I will probably not watch a lot of the USA World Cup, but I'm more likely to catch the odd game. I'm not a big international football fan, to be honest, Max. I much prefer domestic football. But I do sometimes say I'm not going to watch something and get sucked into the hype quite quickly, so it could happen. I could be here next, in a couple of weeks' time, be like, woo, football, but I'm not. I didn't know. I didn't watch any of it. Could Max be in the title fight if he consistently scores podiums in every single race? I don't think the Red Bulls have enough CPB. But then we've got quite a development war, haven't we? So I still think it's between Antonelli and Russell, although it is very early days. It is starting to feel a little bit like Kimi versus himself at the moment. But don't forget, Piastri was miles clear at one point last year. It felt like it anyway, and then he finished third in the standing, so it can all go wrong. But I think for someone like Verstappen, I suppose you could throw the Ferraris in there as well. And I guess the McLarens too. Just consistent scoring in these early races while they upgrade the car to try and catch Mercedes. That could make the second half of the year exciting, but I'm not convinced Red Bull have enough. That said, and it's a phrase, one of my many catchphrases that I seem to come out with randomly. If anyone can, Max can. So I'd like to see it, though. I'd like to see it at CPB. I'd be a big fan of that because it means we're going to get a great final run of the season. So, yeah. To be fair to Crofty, I don't say that often. He did mention that Antonelli off the line fact, but did include the fact it didn't include Canada in the quali commentary today. Sorry, that's not your fault. It's me reading that completely wrong. To be fair to Crofty, I don't say that often. He did mention the Antonelli off the line fact, but did include the fact it didn't include Canada in the quali commentary. So it's correct. Well, I was going to say, because in FP2 yesterday, he definitely didn't include Canada. He said at every race. If he's corrected that, that's fair enough. I'll let him off. But yeah, I was kind of like, that's not true, Crofty. When I was watching that yesterday, I was like, that's not Canada. And I even went and watched the start because I'm that sad. Yeah. Yeah. If he's corrected, that's fine. What time do they start again? Tomorrow now. Jos, the session's over for quali. I'll be wrapping up in a few minutes on the stream. But quali is done. Antonelli on pole, Verstappen second, Hamilton third. And then it's 2 p.m. BST tomorrow. So that is 9 a.m. Eastern time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 p.m. Australia time. AEST, so Melbourne time is what I tend to say for that one. And obviously 3 p.m. local time. So there you go, which is CEST. I refuse. I know that I could put all my session times through AI and check them, but I refuse to do it. So when I do my sessions time for previews, I count back or count forward because I know how far forward they are and how far back they are. Then I go and check the World Buddy so I could put the session times in double check. I proofread I know nobody cares, but I'll tell you anyway. I proofread the session times in my preview at least 12 times because I'm so paranoid that one person in the world is going to take my word as gospel and be an hour late for a Grand Prix or something, then blame me. That's why previews take as long as they do to proofread. It's pathetic. It doesn't help them a bit. Anyway, but lovely to have races back in Europe on European time zones because I'm spoiled and want them mid-afternoon, says Max. I get that, Max, and I sort of agree. It's nice to do this in an afternoon for a change, but I actually prefer an early one or a late one because I can get them out of the way. I don't mean that in a negative way, but I can get on with other things and have my day. So, yeah, but also I do quite enjoy a late night race or an early morning one, so maybe just me, I don't know. Not many had Hamilton down to out-qualify Charles, says that Sam. No, to be fair, Charles looked I mean, it was tight, but marginally like he had the edge. Would he have got it? I don't know if he'd got him in the end. All my times have disappeared now, so I don't know. It's all just on that tower. So yeah, but I don't know if he got him in the end anyway, but without that crash. But he did crash. It's irrelevant, isn't it? But yeah, you're right, Sam. You're absolutely right. Thoughts on the Audi livery? They forgot to paint inside of the side pods yellow. The less I see of the Audi livery full stop Moray, the better, to be honest. I don't like it anyway. Do you think Antonelli tries to pull a gap on Max, or does he back him up so the undercut isn't an option? Says Sad Mariners fan. We tend to see drivers not wanting to pull away at the front. I think the lead cars will go. So your Gasly's and your Lawsons are certainly going to fall back. But I don't. There's not a lot of point either. You've got to think about it this way. There's no point in Antonelli taking all the life out of his tyres. I know it's hard to overtake, if not impossible to overtake. But there's no point taking all the life out of his tyres if there's a chance of a safety car every 10 laps. So you may as well just build a gap back to where you need that gap to be. So if you need a gap between Gasly and Norris as the grid sits at the minute, you build the gap back to Gasly, but then you don't do much more than that. Because then it does, like you say, it stops Verstappen going for the undercut or somebody else going for the undercut. My strategy around Monaco is always, not that I race, obviously, but look after your tyres, consistent speed, don't make any mistakes. Then as soon as the pit stops hit, you floor it on your in lap, you floor it on your out lap, and then you prevent undercuts and overcuts that way. So traffic is going to be key tomorrow. Traffic wasn't too bad today in quali though. 22 cars out there at one point. It wasn't awful. There were a few moments, but it wasn't too bad. So, but tomorrow's going to be really interesting with traffic. So I think, yeah, you don't want to pull out too much of a gap because you want to place. Was it Norris last year? It was all nose to tail, wasn't it, for the lead cars? So yeah, you're probably on something there with that. I think you don't need to pull a massive gap. That said, if Antonelli's got the pace in the car and you can pull 30 seconds, 35, 40 seconds off Verstappen, that completely removes any threat of an undercut or an overcut, doesn't it? So, I mean, the pace should be in that Mercedes, but we'll see. No straight mode zone, no, the new rules aren't going to make much of a difference. There's not going to be any yo-yo racing, that's for sure. So, Yeah. Overtake most still exists, though, doesn't it? So we'll see. But yeah, no, that's one of the things I love about Monaco races, the strategy the leader takes. We often see, don't we, the leader slower than the cars at the back. Basically. We'll see. I'm intrigued by that one, but I think, yeah, you're on something there. Something to watch out for tomorrow. Any more questions? Aldi is better than Lidl. I'm not having it. I used to work there, so I'm biased. Bottas better than Russell, says Jamie. Confirmed. Yeah. I'm feeling 3 safety cars and 4 virtual safety cars for the race, Stewie. Well, I expected that in the F2, but it never came. But then F3 was a little bit chaotic, wasn't it? So I suppose it could go either way. But yeah, that's what, how long are we going? 2 hours and 5 minutes. I think we'll wrap up in a second. So I'm sort of waffling out. Any more questions? If not, what we'll do actually first, before we get into that, is get your predictions in for tomorrow. What's your top 3, your podium for tomorrow's Grand Prix? Get them in chat quickly. I will read a few out, give you a few shout-outs as well. Apologies for any names I butcher, inevitably. And then I'll probably wrap it up there and take any final questions from there. But I am going to go. And you're going to love this. I've seen Monaco before. I'm going to say no changes in the top 6 tomorrow. Oh, I'm so boring. That's realistic. No change in the top 6. Crazy prediction. Albon for the win. No, I think Antonelli, Verstappen, Hamilton will be the finishing order as it is the starting order. I think Leclerc will be P4, Hadjar P5, Russell P6. Maybe Russell gets Hadjar would be the only change. But yeah, that's a little bit boring. I know that's boring, but I just... It's not like Canada or, I don't know, pick a race. China, for example. I'm not expecting much overtaking tomorrow. Maybe someone like a Hamilton could play a blinder with an undercut if he can get a gap that he needs to fall into with the pace that Ferrari seems to have, or at least seemed to have on Friday. Maybe he can get in there and split those two at the front or even win it. But I think if it's a straightforward Monaco Grand Prix, Antonelli, Verstappen, Hamilton is my top 3 and an unchanged top 6. Which again, it's just so depressing, and people go, why bother watching then? But it's because we watch Monaco because somebody could stick it in the wall, because somebody could make a mistake. That's why you're watching. You're not watching because you expect drama. You're not watching because you expect an overtake. You're watching because it could happen. And the fact it's still cool to watch the cars around here. So, yeah, I kind of wish I put that as a bold pick on my predictions now. For Wednesday, no changes in the top 6, but then I didn't know what the top 6 was going to be, did I? So that would have been stupid if a Cadillac had surprised us in qualifying. Hamilton is winning, says Max. CPB's gone with Kimi, Max and Charles. Moray says Lewis, Max and Bearman. What has happened in your race, Moray, for Bearman to end up in P3? And can we all watch with you, please? Professional Moron says Checo wins. Same question to you. Antonelli second, Hamilton third. Leclerc does his usual crash out, says Kieran. Stewie says Hamilton, Hadjar and Norris. That sounds like a fun race, actually. Neil says, I wonder if Hamilton can get in the way of Verstappen off the start. Is that fast starting Ferrari tomorrow in Monaco with the inconsistent starts that Verstappen and, let's say, Antonelli have had? That's going to get spicy to turn 1. CPB says bold prediction. Russell DNFs again. That... I don't want to go declaring titles now, but I think that's probably game over, isn't it, for him there? Lauren says that Kimi, Max, Lewis, ignore my name handle, it's Lauren. Yeah, I didn't read your second part of your comment there. I actually went to check your channel out to make sure I knew your name. But yes, there you go. Pascal, Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, and somehow Hulkenberg in P10. Zach says, I miss evil underhanded Red Bull. They'd have some kind of trick up their sleeve to get Max ahead. Yeah, I know what you mean. Sad Mariners fan says Leclerc gets a Ferrari start, misses his braking zone, clobbers the top 4 into turn 1. Bloody hell. Russell can't avoid it and crashes as well. Red flag, Hadjar for the win. Wow. That'd be fun. That'd be chaotic. Bottas bowling into turn 1 then is what we're going with. Audi should go to the hards since they're going to plummet at the start anyway, says Neelish. Good point. I would love to see Lewis wins this, Sam, but due to the nature of the track, I expect it will be Kimi, Max, and Lewis. Charles causes a pile up into the first corner, or Charles, sorry, causes a pile up in the first corner. Jamie says Max, Kimi, and Lewis. Neilish's prediction: Williams tries to pit stop shenanigans from last year again. It's doable. They could do it, and that would let the top 10 off, wouldn't it? With pit strategies and things, or not all of them, but most of them. So yeah, that's a good point. They could try it. McLaren could try it, but I don't think they would. Any further questions then? We Sean says, will they start again today? Not today, no. We're done for today. Race tomorrow, 2 p.m. BST. But Antonelli's on pole, Verstappen second, Hamilton third, Leclerc fourth, Hadjar fifth, and then it's Russell, Piastri, Norris, Gasly, and Lawson rounding out the top 10. But yeah, if there are no further questions or points or predictions, Jamie has a question. Oh, nobody move. Steady, brace yourself. This will be good. It's Jamie. Jamie, have a good question. Well, I've got dead air now till Jamie asks his question. No pressure. Waffles or pancakes? Pancakes all day long. I love a waffle, as in, man, can I talk? You might have noticed. I've done this for 9 years and can't stop. But yeah, pancakes over waffles for me. Although what I call a pancake, others might call a crepe. So. Neelish says, any predictions on who's going to lead the trains tomorrow? Antonelli will lead the main train. Gasly will lead the next train. And then I'm going to go with Perez leading another train. They are 3 trains. They are, Kieran, but I would call it, for me, a pancake is the thin thing, but a lot of people say what I would call a Scotch pancake or an American style pancake are the smaller, thicker ones, but crepe and pancake are the same thing, but I call them pancake. Others will say that's a crepe, but yeah, it's fundamentally the same thing. Morris's thoughts on the 2037 extension of Vegas. Surely Coates will get a 100-year extension of its base purely off quality of the race. I'm okay with Vegas getting an extension because it's not been bad. The track layout looks awful, but it seems to work. And if you asked me, if you said I could keep 2 of the races in the US, they would be COTA and Vegas, and I would throw Miami in the bin. If you asked me to pick one, it would be COTA all day long. Absolutely, I love that track. I think it's a little bit underrated actually, but yeah, I'm happy for Vegas to get the extension, but also it was the least shocking news since, well, since Bahrain got an extension, frankly. But the other extension, of course, this week is that Charles Leclerc got a new contract at Ferrari because apparently he just loves the pain. He's sick and twisted. He seems to love it. I don't know. He can escape. I can't. I'm a fan. I'm stuck with him forever. So I think reportedly to 2030. And last word of the day from Lauren, who's absolutely right. It says, some of us do waffle some crepe. It's the whole MO. It's the whole point of these channels. It really, really is. But yes, I do need to tell you some chef stories at some point. I do. There's a few other stories I need to tell you, but they may have to wait for testing or the winter. We'll see how we go. But I am going to leave it there for today. So thank you very much for... Yeah, I think it is 2030, Jamie. It's 29 or 2030. Depends on where you read. But yeah, we'll leave it there for today. I will be back tomorrow for the race reaction. It'll be short, about around half an hour max after the race has finished tomorrow in Monaco. Again, if we're looking at traditional Monaco, I suspect there won't be a lot to talk about, but we're still going to go live for it anyway, and we'll talk about what we saw and look ahead to Barcelona if we have to as well. That's tomorrow again, shortly after the race has finished. And of course, the preview on Wednesday for the Barcelona-Catalunya Grand Prix, then the qualifying watch-along as well next Saturday, and race reaction again on Sunday. Please do drop a like on the stream before you go and subscribe if you are new as well, so you don't miss any of that content that is upcoming. Like I keep saying, we're hitting some momentum now, so we've got a lot of races tomorrow, next Sunday, a week off, then Austria and Silverstone, then a week off, and then Belgium and Hungary before we end for the summer, and then go on the most ridiculous run to the season finale, assuming no more races get cancelled. And it could get even worse if other races get slotted back in, but we'll see what happens. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Formula Sean, and until next time, goodbye.